I am your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki. I've been looking at value, the currency of life, from a book I wrote 18 years back, 2006. When I travel, I observe and I meditate, and then the Lord speaks to me in my journeys. I was in Kenya and Uganda in 2004, and I could see Africa and the underdeveloped world from the perspective of what I saw in my road journey from Busia K in Kenya down to Kampala. I went by road. One of the most interesting journeys I've ever had, and some of the most beautiful people I have ever met. Now, I could see why the black man labors to build the economies of the developed world while we remain underdeveloped. What applied to Kenya and Uganda applies to Nigeria, applies to Ghana, applies to Gabon, applies to Afghanistan, applies to nearly every underdeveloping country. In Kericho, in Kenya, you could call the whole of Kericho tea town. You could see miles and miles and miles upon miles of tea plantations. And you will see hundreds of Africans with baskets harvesting tea leaves or doing one job or the other. According to Roy Moxham is Moxham, tea reached Europe and America from China as medicines in the 17th century rather than a beverage. It was very, very expensive, just like cinnamon. Cinnamon at one time was more expensive than silver because of the medicinal effect. That's how tea had medicinal effect. Only the rich could afford tea in Britain at that time and in the Americas. So what did the British do? They went to India, Sri Lanka, and Africa to plant their own plantations. When they planted their own plantations and they started harvesting their tea, the price of tea came down. It became a beverage, became readily available. But the natives who owned the land did not know the value of their land and what these leaves could amount to. Even if they knew, colonialism made them to be personnel non grata in their own land, because before you can colonize a man, you believe that he does not exist. That is, you take his existence for granted. That's why you come there and colonize him. Now, the British developed techniques to plant tea, to harvest it, to process it, and to market it, and converted it from medicinal use to recreational use. Each step of extraction of tea, of value from tea, made it more profitable to them. China and Japan, I drink Japanese green tea here. They found out that if they do not dry the leaves too dry, they leave them green, that some of the medicinal components might remain more effective in it. So you have green tea. But the most popular names we know with tea are British names like Lipton. Lipton was a small trader, store trader, that went into massive tea processing and marketing. And today, Lipton is everywhere. The Indians, the Ceylonese, who were later called Sri Lankans, and Africans planted tea for the British, but they got very little from it. But the British, who knew how to extract more value out of it, gained all the wealth. You remember kettle tea? In those days, you had to boil it. When you boil it, then you filter it. But they developed it today, made it into sachets that you drop into water and the tea extract comes out. By doing that, they increase the profitability to them. You remember bongo coffee? If you don't know bongo coffee, you should respect me. Bongo coffee in those days, you cook it, you boil it like as the Ethiopians still do. Remember, coffee originated from Ethiopia. Somebody saw the value, took it to Martinique. From Martinique, it spread around South America. Out of the 1.2 million tons of coffee imported into the United States of America every year, 800 million tons come from, 800,000 tons come from that original stem that was taken to Martinique by a French soldier who was going there. So their ability to see value, their ability to extract value is the difference between the developed world, and we in Africa. Extractable value. Now, so take the case of sugar. I saw large sugarcane farms in Lugazi in Uganda and Mumias. When I was in South Africa, I also saw large sugarcane farms. In fact, Indians were brought to South Africa in 1802 to come and plant sugarcane. So if you go to places like Durban, you will see large Indian population. They came there to plant sugarcane. In fact, Mahatma Gandhi one time lived in South Africa. So the blacks and the Indians planted the sugar canes, harvested them, but the white man knew how to convert it to sugar. After converting it to sugar, it will come out as brown sugar until it passes through the Jacobs reactor, where you have carbon, charcoal, to extract the brown nature out of it. Now, by just bleaching it and making it white, they increase the value, even though the nutritional value might have come down. By cubing the granulated sugar, making it into cubes, they increase the value. You remember we had one sugar in Nigeria called Tate and Lyle, very hard. Then St. Louis came, softer. And Tate and Lyle went out of the market. That one had a green packet. And then St. Louis sugar remained in the market. And so other softer cubes started coming. So by cubing it, they increased the value. And then they will export it from Mumias, export it from Mauritius, export it from everywhere to Nigeria, to different countries of the world, and we pay. The simple reason is extractable value. Then they took the sugar, mixed it with coca leaves, mixed it with kola nuts, and John Pemberton bought the formula from Chandler, I think in 1906, and produced Coca-Cola. By bottling Coca-Cola, the value increased. He was able to sell more compared to the former man who was selling it in glasses. So Pemberton, a pharmacist, bought it from him, and the value of Coca-Cola increased. Then by putting it in cans, the value increased about 300%. Your major problem, and the major problem with every person who is not better than what he earns as salary, is that you are living in the raw form this principle of extractable value has not sunken into your head. I was preaching with a lot of young men round Nigeria. When they gave us honorarium, they would just spend their own buying cars, buying TV sets. I was extracting value from my own. One of the days they gave us money, I bought paper. Then it was long time ago, they gave me 40,000. My friends went to buy terminal things, bought CD players and CD discs. I bought paper and I printed 4 books as at that time. The 4 books were giving me 600,000. From the 400,000, I extracted more value. I wrote a book, Money is an Idiot, and they were inviting me to give lectures. I gave lectures. Money is an Idiot was giving me 250,000 every month. Then I preached the message into 3 CDs. Those CDs were giving me 600,000 every month. That was how I was able to build the school, build my life, train my children overseas, apart from the money I invested in real estate that I harnessed. That is how to become rich. That is how to develop yourself. Extractable value. You need to play this message over and over. How much are you earning? How much are you investing from it? What is the extractable value of your time and your knowledge? I remain your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki. Come nearer. On the 1st of May, I'm going to share more mysteries with you of how to prepare for aging. Because on the 27th of April, I will be 65 and I'm more productive. I'm making more money. I'm making more meaning. I'm generating more momentum and creating more memories in people. 1st of May, send a message to +234-7052136763. 3 things will follow. Number 1, I will register you for the conference. Number 2, you can join my WhatsApp mentorship group after registering for the conference. Number 3, I have real estate for sale. God bless you. Because of Walter, my friend, I am your friend, Dr. Charles Pokey.